Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the PHNX Suns postgame show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Lindsey Smith here with Saul Bookman and Gerald Bourget, and you guys, I'm sick and tired of losing. The Suns fall to the Houston Rockets 111-97. That's 5 straight in the row, and I'm over it. I'm completely over it.
It's been over a week, and we haven't won a game. That's not good, Bob.
No, it's not. And tonight made a lot of things very clear that I think we've known deep down for a long time. We've been talking about Chris Paul not being the point guard anymore. We've been talking about James Jones needing to make a move. But we've also kind of buried deep down, okay, are Mikal Bridges or Deandre Ayton a real number 2? And tonight was kind of a very clear answer that, for me at least, no, neither one of them look like that guy. There are significant flaws with this roster. This is the first time they've lost 5 in a row since December of 2019, which was Monty's first year on the job. And I think this makes it pretty clear that without Devin Booker, this team is not good enough. And even with Devin Booker, I don't know if they're good enough to win a title. Obviously, you're missing Cam Johnson still, but I think we need to stop kidding ourselves that at some point we're going to get healthy and the switch is going to flick back without significant changes to the rest of the roster.
Yeah, I concur. And I would say, listen, there's a lot of flaws from top to bottom. And I wouldn't even stop at the roster, to be honest with you. I think Monty hasn't had the greatest of seasons. I think James Jones, because of the complacency, I guess, is the best way I could put it. Because, listen, the one thing about James Jones that I will say is really difficult to measure what he is doing because we don't know what limitations are being placed on him behind the scenes.
Right.
And that's frustrating for all of us, right? I know there's a portion of Suns fans that are like, fuck that, there's no way he's got to have, and I know that they've said that out loud, like, oh no, we've got full reign to do it. But saying it and doing it are two completely different things. And as we heard yesterday about, I forgot what his name is, that says that he does talk to Sarver.
Sam Garvin.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. It's just, James Jones didn't do an adequate job in building this roster, giving it the depth that it needed, and really shoring up some of the flaws of this roster, knowing that Jay Crowder was not going to be a part of this roster moving forward, knowing that you needed a backup point guard. And I know Cam Payne, you were hoping he was going to bounce back, but there's just a lot of hope on this roster, and a lot of that hope has fizzled out, and it's not coming to fruition.
Right. And to if he's being limited to not being able to include a first round pick, there's only so much he can do. We don't know if that's the case, but we can kind of maybe read between the lines or guess. And that in turn limits what Monty's able to do. Like you said, I don't think he's had his best coaching season by a long shot, but there are people in the chat asking about, why are we talking about a championship? Because the whole point of this roster of trading for Chris Paul was to win a title. Whether or not you think they're there is irrelevant. This team, the way it's constructed, is meant to compete for titles. The fact that they're not getting there is the issue here. And we've been pretty clear on that for weeks now. We've been saying, is this team good enough? Their starting 5 when fully healthy might be, but the bench isn't clearly. They need to make upgrades. So that's what we're talking about.
It was always, again, it's always but, right? It's always this, but, or, even the starting 5, it was like, oh, this starting 5, they've got the talent to be able to compete with anybody in the NBA, which is true. If Mikal Bridges plays, up to speed, if Deandre Ayton doesn't fizzle out and give you 8 and 4, if Chris Paul doesn't have COVID or a quad injury or whatever the fuck he had in the playoffs, there's always this if or but or whatever. And I think now all those things are out the door. This team is struggling big time. It's going to take a lot for them to kind of bounce back right now, because they still have a pretty tough schedule here in the next couple of games with the Clippers and then the Pelicans again. The rest, and I'm not going to let the Suns have a pass because they have injuries. because the whole rest of the league has had injuries for the last couple of years while the Suns were thriving, and they didn't take advantage of it. And we all said, you got to take advantage of this opportunity, because if you don't know what's going to happen when all these teams retool and come back. And now we're starting to see a little bit of that, and it ain't good.
I think the biggest thing for me, like beyond the roster construction, is just how they're playing. The lackluster energy, it's like, I get it. You're down bodies, like guys are hurt. Maybe you're worn out because you had to carry the load of guys who were hurt before, yada, 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 whatever. But regardless of all of those things, you should still show some effort. Like that's the biggest thing to me, because you could say, oh yeah, the starting five is great, but this, but that. It doesn't matter if you're a championship level team. If you don't put in the effort, you're still not going to win a championship.
Right. And that's why I hate to say it's refreshing to see Josh Okogie come in and actually give a shit. That's not good if like the 10th or 11th man on your roster, you're watching him play and like, wow, look at him go.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? I know that they're missing Book and they're missing Cam, but like, and I know that Chris Paul is not the point guard anymore, but man, like Mikal has been going through it. DA obviously got hurt. Cam Payne got hurt, which are whole other issues that we're now adding to the pile. But like, we need DA to play like DA and Mikal to play like Mikal. And for so long, we've been able to squint and see either one of them as a potential second fiddle. And now it's really hard to see that. Like Mikal, if you throw out that 27-point game against the Pelicans, his last 4 games have been 18 points on 4 of 24 shooting tonight, 11 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 4 points on 2 of 12 shooting, 13 on 4 of 11 shooting. Like, he's kind of disappeared during this entire losing streak. And DA had those 2 good games against the Pelicans. Other than that, the contributions have been mixed. Like, those are the 2 guys above all else, we've been saying from the beginning of the season, needed to step up, needed to take on more of the load this year as Chris Paul takes a step back. And it's been inconsistent. So there are just so many problems with what's happening with the Suns team right now. It's kind of hard to know where to begin.
Okay, when it comes to Mikal, do you think it's lack of ability? Do you think it is carrying too much, playing too many minutes? Do you think it's lack of effort?
I don't think it's a lack of ability. I really don't. Honestly, to me, I feel like it's all cool to have this streak going. Whatever. I think Mikal needs he needs a break. He needs some rest. I mean, Mikal played 38 minutes tonight. That's almost his norm. What? Like, again, like we talked about Chris Paul limiting his minutes, or Devin Booker and making sure you don't, just wear him down. But listen, Devin Booker looked tired the last time he took the floor. Like the season is wearing you down because you're playing long minutes. And I think the same thing can be said about Mikal Bridges right now. He just looks like he's wearing down.
Amelia in the chat also says, is he hurt a little bit? ? Honestly, like that's not out of the realm of of possibility. You did see him twist his ankle a few games back, and ever since then he's been a little sluggish. Even tonight, multiple times throughout the last week of games or so, there's been times where you're like, oh shoot, is Mikal hurt? Oh great, Mikal's hurt now. And he plays through it, brushes it off, but maybe he's a little worn down. Maybe parts of him are a little hurt. It may not be so bad that he has to sit out, but maybe he should.
Maybe he should. And I don't want anyone to think that he's out there playing through injury just to keep some stupid Iron Man streak alive. I really do think if he is trying to play through nagging injuries, like whatever he's dealing with, that it's because he recognizes where this team is at right now with guys missing time. But yeah, if something is bothering him and that's what's hindering his play, then I think like Devin Booker's probably not going to play Thursday. Cam Payne and DA, we have no idea now if they're going to play Thursday. Like if that's the case and he is banged up, let him sit Thursday. Let this team get a game at least of rest and take a scheduled L. Like, this team is still in fine position to make the playoffs. I'm not concerned about that yet. but like yet, I will say yet.
Oh my God, he said yet.
But
Ooh.
we are talking about a team that coming into this season, I thought they would still be good for 50, 55 wins just because they have continuity. They have their top 4 players. Then Cam Johnson goes down. Then Chris Paul looks like he did in the Mavs series. And now it's like, yeah, this is a first round exit team unless they get healthy and unless they make upgrades to the rest of the roster. And that's the scary thing.
Overall tonight, I just thought, I mean, listen, let's go through this real quick. 2 for 9, 4 for 24, 2 for 10, 5 for 17, 5 for 13. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is 32% from the floor.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
And somehow, some way, they still scored 97 points. I don't even understand that.
Because they got 103 shots. They took more shots than they scored points, which is, you never want to do that. Like for reference, the Rockets scored 30 more points than shots, and the Suns had 6 more shots than points.
Yeah.
That's just like borderline historic. I honestly want to look that up and see how, I mean, it's not the worst offensive night in NBA history, but for a team that fancies itself as a title contender, it's got to be up there.
So let's talk a little bit about the Deandre and Cam Payne injury tonight, because we haven't really gone too far into that. Somebody was asking if we had any information on when Cam Payne got hurt. That one was a little bit low key. I don't know that anybody really saw a specific moment that stood out of like that was when he got hurt.
Right. I didn't see a specific play. If you go back and watch the couple plays before he went out, the very last play, it looked like he was kind of grabbing at his foot a little bit, but that's all that we have to go off of right now, is that it's a foot injury. And with DA, the ankle, we saw him obviously limping off the court just before halftime and going to get checked out. He didn't return. Yeah, so it's not looking good for Thursday for either guy. I feel like
the Cam Payne one is a little more concerning to me just because we didn't see it happen. And then we just didn't see him play. And then at halftime, he just was like, I'm not coming back. At least DA, we saw him. He was able to walk it off a little bit, and he walked to the locker room. So that makes me feel a little bit better.
He walked and he stopped. Then he walked and then he stopped. Then he walked and he stopped. Like
but at least he walked himself
he
there.
He ain't coming back for next game.
Yeah.
No
way.
I don't think he should either. Him and Cam. I think, like you said, schedule it as a loss.
Yeah.
Book out. Cam Payne out, DA out, and Mikal out. Give them all some rest.
DA's got peanut butter brittle fucking ankles, man. I don't know what's going on there.
DA needs to get
some crumble at the mere touch of a leg.
Oh no.
And people keep bringing this up too. Dwayne Washington Jr. not doing anything. He's hurt, y'all.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Dwayne's been hurt for a while.
He's hurt.
Please don't yell at D-Wash. It's not his fault. He's also on the injury report.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay. That one just is bothering me because I've seen it the last 3 games. Everyone like, why didn't we see D-Wash? What's up with this? And I'm like, he's hurt.
I got to say, the last 2 games, Devin Booker hasn't done anything out there.
He's been trash. He's been trash. Listen, I know everybody's upset in the chat, but let's be real about this, okay? Let's be real. Let's just bring this back to reality, because I feel like a lot of things that Cardinals fans are upset about have somehow permeated their way over into Suns Kingdom, and people are feeling the same exact way about the Suns right now as they feel about the Cardinals, and it's not the same.
No.
It is nowhere near the same, okay? You have a talented team that is going through it right now, okay? This is year 3 with Chris Paul. Chris Paul has lost something, okay? He has lost that extra juice that would get to be able to take over games or give you, buckets when you needed it the most. They have not been the crunch time Suns this year. Things have kind of deterred off the tracks. Just a week ago, they were 16-7. First place in the West. Everything was hunky dory. They've hit a skid, and they've hit a skid with 5 games in 8 days. Okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but it ain't over.
No.
Okay, still a long way to go. I'm not sitting here saying you shouldn't be worried. But I'm also saying we don't need to trade the entire roster except for Book or Mikal or Book and DA, and we don't need to fire Monty, and we don't need to go firing James Jones. Just put the phone down,
reel it back in,
and just chill. Okay, just take a deep breath.
No, I'm just kidding.
Take a deep breath. Take an OGs.
Couldn't have said it
go.
better because one thing is not like the other. And I know people are going to compare them because both the coach and the GM got locked in for long-term contracts. But one side of that equation did their part to earn those contracts. The other, not so much.
Yeah.
So apples and oranges.
And a lot of that, honestly, is probably just ownership giving a flower to those guys for being there through the harder times and probably showing support throughout the whole investigation as everything went down. Because if new ownership comes in and decides they want to clean house, at least they're going to be taken care of through their contracts because they have to honor those, of course.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, let me throw you a bone. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Saul mentioned OGs, but if OGs isn't your thing, we also have Four Peaks. Four Peaks beer is quite delicious, takes the edge off. And we have this beautiful advent calendar, the holiday cheer box.
No, you don't have to drink it.
You
You just
available.
gotta bust it out.
What day are we on?
Today is the 13th. On the 13th, day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
Ooh, what is
it?
that?
What is it? Something juice?
Recreational juice.
Wait, can I see this?
That's a pretty cool
Recreational
logo right there.
juice? This is a super dope logo. It's a dank IPA. I love this.
Dank.
This
That's
is super cool. So the Four Peaks Advent Calendar is great because you get a surprise beer every single day of the month. And I understand it's the 13th, but you can always start on the 14th and just catch up whenever you're able to catch up. And these are available at Four Peaks Brewery down in Tempe. So if you'd like to get one, be sure to check them out. But just a reminder, you do have to be 21 years or older, and we ask that you enjoy responsibly. Tonight was mostly bad. We can all agree on that.
Yes.
But there was one small bright spot in tonight's game, and that is our DraftKings king of the game. We're going to go ahead and give it to Josh Okogie. Josh Okogie has actually shown effort over the last couple of games.
Yep.
Also, that block.
That block, though.
Yes. That block that led to that dunk, though.
Yep.
Fantastic little play there from Josh Okogie. And again, the effort. It is nice to see a guy coming in and just seemingly wanting to be there.
I have a theory on why that might be.
What is it?
And I think it's because when he played for the Timberwolves, especially the first 3 years, he was used to being on a team that would find itself down from time to time in those situations. It wasn't a winning team or a playoff team until his last year there. And I feel like a lot of the guys on this team right now, when they get down, they just go into that shell-shocked, like PTSD Game 7 mode where they just like lose all fight. And Josh Okogie is a guy who has been on teams that are down by double digits and keeps fighting. That's just my personal theory. It's also just ingrained in who Okogie is as a human being. But it has been nice to see at least one guy showing fight off the bench. He's not the world's best offensive player, obviously, but he's been shooting well. He's been trying. He's snatching balls out of the air from jump shooters like that one block. Like, it's nice to see a guy who cares.
You know, I also love the opposite of that is how right I am about not having to worry about 35 points ever happening. Let's just talk about how that game started out.
Hold on. Before we do that, let's finish the ad read with our DraftKings king of the game. We're talking about Josh Okogie first, then we'll do the Landry.
I forgot we were even in an ad read.
No, let's talk about Josh Okogie first. But shout out to him for showing up tonight and being a dog out there. And also on the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, if you have not signed up, you absolutely should with the code PHNX, because when you use that promo code, you can place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restriction applies. See show notes for details. All right, Saul, let's talk about Landry Shamet and the lack of 35 points that he had tonight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we started out the game, and I didn't even have to watch the game, really. I could just listen. You hear those bricks? Ding. Hitting off the rim. Bing. Like, dude, he was trying his best to be Devin Booker, and it did not come out that way.
I mean, he low-key looked like Devin Booker against the Mavs Celtics.
Oh man,
Is that too mean?
rough.
I'm sorry. I take that back.
I mean,
That was
it is.
rough.
It is what it is. But
I
no,
mean,
you're right. Like,
Devin Booker didn't deserve strays
He
tonight.
did not. I'm sorry.
he
I'm just
didn't.
mad. So I'm throwing all the strays.
Lindsey-
Everybody can catch these hands right now.
Lindsay's got jokes when she gets frustrated. No, like you're right. Like you didn't even have to watch it to know that Landry Shamet, like he came in and I thought he was going to get up 35 shots. Like by halftime, he was shooting the crap out of the ball, but not well. He started 1 for 5, finished 5 for 13, but like a lot of it came in garbage time. So you were hoping that someone was going to step into the void of Devin Booker, take on some of those shots. Shamet's not afraid to shoot. He's just had a hellacious time getting it to fall, which everyone did tonight, except for like Cam Payne, who left early in the game. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Landry Shamet, bless his heart. I just don't know what it's going to take for Landry to be able to be the consistent guy that we were told he was supposed to be.
You know what it's going to take?
A trade.
If we all want to hold hands and say a prayer.
A prayer circle.
That's about the only thing.
Prayer circle, Suns Twitter.
Save Landry.
Ouch.
Oh, he volunteered like he had an answer, and his answer was divine intervention.
You just need a miracle.
Need the hand of
Where's
God.
Moses?
Oh
You're going to part the sea.
God.
Let's go, baby.
It's been a rough couple of weeks.
Whew. Man, listen, folks, that's why we're here. We got to bring a little levity to this awful situation, this streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But if there's anything that we like here on this show,
What's
it's
that?
a silver lining.
Oh, God.
So, Dan Devine, an NBA writer for Yahoo Sports, tweeted this out during the game. Glass half empty take. The Suns just scored 37 points and a half against the Rockets team, ranked 27th in defensive efficiency. They've looked awful for 4.5 games, and Deandre Ayton just limped to the locker room. Glass half full. Devin Booker's MVP case keeps getting stronger.
Sure, if it weren't for that disaster that happened last week.
But now we can blame it on everybody else around this person. On the
Devin
team.
Booker was like, did not play well at all.
Look, Book fell
That's
out of
because
the.
Book had to carry the load.
If I have to
and
hear
had to do
Booker
too much.
If I got to hear Booker and MVP in the same sentence anytime before the next month, and he bounces back and has phenomenal games again, it'll be too soon, and I will pull my hair out.
Well, look, Book fell out of the top 5 candidates with those losses to Dallas, Boston, and New Orleans, even though he left in the fourth quarter. But, like, yeah, this team, again, this goes back to what we were saying earlier in the show. This team without Devin Booker is a sub 500 team. Like, they're not a winning team. They're not a playoff team. With Devin Booker, they're a very good team. They just need more around him. They're a 1-star team right now.
I don't know if, I mean, I know the last several games have been awful, but I don't know if they would be a sub 500 team. I'm not saying that they would be a 50-win team. I mean, they would barely be above 500, I think. But because, you know, when you lose a star, like, let's just say, for instance, let's just say for shits and giggles that nobody wants to hear, Devin Booker got traded in the offseason, right? And it was just these guys. Well, then your mindset has to change. Like, it has to change. Yeah. You would think it would change already, considering the fact that he hasn't played the last 2 games. Here we are. So I don't know if they'd be below 500, but they wouldn't be as good as they are with them.
They'd be 500 at best to me. Like, especially with this version of Chris Paul. Nah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this version of Chris Paul is
doo-doo.
We still haven't figured out exactly what's going on there. And I hope it turns around. Because I do feel bad.
Doo-doo.
I feel bad for Chris Paul.
Why?
Why wouldn't you?
He's in year like 29.
Yeah, and
He's
you don't
fine.
feel bad for athletes who get older and no longer can do the things that they once were able to do? That's gotta suck. Of course I feel bad.
You know how you avoid that?
What?
By leaving when you're on top.
Oh, I thought you were going to go into like an OG's.
It doesn't change the fact that you still can no longer do the thing that you want to do. That still sucks.
I mean, yeah.
I feel
There's
bad.
a lot of things I can't do that I wish I could do, but hey, I've lived with it.
but you're also not like in the NBA.
It's different.
I wasn't even talking about basketball. I'm just talking about like in life.
I know, but I feel
I
like
wish I could jump more than 4 inches right now, but I can't because I have fucking arthritis in my knees and it sucks.
I do feel bad though. Like if you're an all-time great player and you reach that age where you can't do the things you used to do anymore, that is kind of sad, especially if you don't realize it yet and if you're still fighting back against that. And I feel like that's the perception he's been fighting against the last couple of years before this. And now we're kind of finally at the point where we're looking at each other like, okay, maybe he's not going to fight his way through this one.
Yeah.
That's the sad part to me.
That I would agree. I would say this, like to your point, you know, people doubted him when he was at OKC, and then he was damn near an MVP candidate when he was there and led that team that had no business making the playoffs to the playoffs. Then he comes over to the Suns, and everybody's talking about, oh, is he washed? Is he not washed? Leads them all the way to the finals. And even last year, phenomenal season, and everything was great until we hit Game 3 against the Mavericks, and then everything crumbled. My thing is like the first 10 to 15 games of this season, before he hurt his heel, obviously, you could see, I think this is the first time we could see that he wasn't quite right. Like he wasn't the same guy that we've seen the previous 2 years. And that's saying something because he wasn't like, you know, all world athletic the last couple seasons. He was just very shrewd, very crafty, and can get whatever he wanted at basically any time. Right now, it doesn't feel like that. And that's the sad part. So yes, it is a little sad, but also, you know, Tom Brady's out there and.
But also Tom Brady. Don't you feel better now?
I mean, Tom Brady has 8 championships. So
You're such a brat.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, man.
All right. I have a little bit of a game for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a game for you.
Well, yours is a more fun game. Mine is a like topics-based game, so it's going to be sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yours will be fun. Mine will be sad. But let's do the sad part first, right?
Okay, let's do it.
So it's an agree or disagree, and then you can share kind of how you're feeling about it. And these are all takes that I have seen for the most part on Suns social. Okay. So like takes from the fan base, right? So agree or disagree. Losing 5 games in the month of December means just as much as winning 5 games in the month of December.
I will disagree.
Yeah.
Because it also matters who you're playing in those 5 games that you lose.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree just because it does mean more, especially if you're a team that fancies itself to be a title contender.
Okay. Agree or disagree. Arizona sports are cursed.
I just hate that. I know it hasn't been great. I know it's only been 1 championship for the 4 majors here, but God, it's like, it's almost as if when you feel like that, you're just inevitably going to permeate that to the players and they just feel it and they start to think that they're cursed and they start to play off. I don't want.
You mean like it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah. I don't want to acknowledge it. I never have. And I never will.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're cursed. I think they're just in a perpetual state of misery, unfortunately. Like, I don't know. I like the Mercury aren't cursed. At least we have the Mercury.
Rattlers aren't cursed.
The Rattlers aren't cursed either.
Did you see them choke in the playoffs?
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
That was rough.
Fuck.
Yeah, but they still have championships.
True.
So
Yeah.
Have you been to Detroit? Have you seen the Pistons win 3 championships?
Yeah. And the Red Wings.
And the Red Wings. Oh my God.
Lions
yes.
are cursed.
Lions are. Yeah.
I'm with Mike B in the chat. It feels cursed. Oh well. We may not actually be, but sometimes it does feel like we are.
It's that self-fulfilling prophecy. And look, we've had a brutal couple of months just on the Suns alone. We don't even have to talk about the shit show that's going on with the Cards or the Coyotes in their rebuilding era or D-backs in their, like, we've been going through it as Arizona sports fans.
We
for
have.
Sure.
Okay, agree or disagree? This stretch of games from the Suns came out of left field.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially
you guys didn't see this kind of drop off coming.
Especially the way that the drop off came. Like I did not see back-to-back 30+ point losses to the Mavs and the Celtics. I did not see them getting bullied basically in game 1 against the Pelicans, and then dropping a contested game in game 2. I was okay with game 4 of this 5-game losing streak. I was cool.
Mhm.
That was the best game that they played out of the 5.
Right.
And I did not see them just getting fucking stomped from the start tonight. It's just
Nope.
a lot of confusion out there.
I thought they had exercised their demons against the Mavs in the season opener when they came back from being 26 down at halftime or whatever it was, and they go into Dallas, get stomped. And I think, okay, they'll bounce back against the Celtics. They always do this. They rise to the elite players. Got stomped by the Celtics, come out against the Pelicans. They get beat up and have more to say about what happened after the game than the actual game. Like, I did not see this coming at all. I think the last 2 games make sense with Book being out, but the first 3 with him out there, I didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah. All right. Agree or disagree? Gerald, we know where you stand on this one, but you feel free to add more. Neither Mikal or DA is in number 2.
I agree. I think both of them have gotten so close to being that guy. And the last piece of the puzzle was consistency. But that's a big key to be the number 2 guy on a playoff caliber or title contending team. I don't think they're there. I think for Mikal, it's a mindset thing. He has too many games like this, especially when Book is out, where he doesn't step up and carry that load. And then DA, I think it's a product of just skill set and the fact that he needs someone to create a lot of offense for him. So I'm going to say no. I think either of them would be a terrific number 3 option, and that's what we saw last year. That's why they were so good, because they had Chris Paul in that role as the number 2. Without him, I don't know if I see it for either one.
I agree. I think DA is closer than Mikal, because DA has shown a little bit more consistency over the last month than Mikal has. But I don't think, listen, when you get a game like this tonight, you got to show up. You got to show up and you got to dominate, and you got to want to dominate. Like, there is no person on that floor that DA should ever defer to. Zero. So why are you? Like, man, fuck these dudes. Go at them. Go get yours. And by default, I think the team will raise their level of play as well. You got to be that alpha, but he's not. He goes out there and he just is like fucking tiptoeing through the tulips. And it's like, okay, Ferdinand the Bull, just Jesus.
I still think DA could be a number 2, but I don't think he could be a number 2 in Phoenix. And again, going back to the conversation we had around DA, not because it's DA's fault, not because it's the Suns' fault or Monty's fault, or that there is anything going on between the two or all of the above. I just think for whatever reason, all of the things that have happened throughout his entire career here with the Suns, starting from the jump, I still think sometimes just a change of scenery would be helpful. So I still think he could potentially be a number 2. All right. And then the last one I have, agree or disagree. We'll ever hear Espo say the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA this season?
No,
not this season.
Not happening.
Wow.
It's
How
just
sad.
I mean, you got to prove it on the stat sheet, and this 5-game losing streak has put them well behind the pack. Like, they're 3 games back of the Pelicans now for number 1. I don't even know what they're back of the Celtics. They're back 5 of the Celtics now. Like, that's ground that's hard to make up. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, but probably not.
I'm going to go with, I think we will, because we heard it like, listen, we heard it like 3 times.
They're like 10 games behind the Celtics.
I'm aware, but listen to what I'm saying. We heard it like 3 times at the beginning of the season when it wasn't even true, just because Espo likes to yell out his little chant.
Mm-hmm.
So
listen,
I feel like we're going to hear it at least one more time.
Let's just do this, okay? My guy got burned for a tweet the other day for what was perceived to be some outlandish shit. If he comes out here and says the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA after they get housed by another 20 points, he's going to get scorched again.
This is very
so I highly recommend that he do not do that.
That's fair. All right. Well, that was a fun game of agree or
All
disagree.
right. Let's have some winners tonight.
Hold on,
How
real
about
quick.
that?
So it was fun, but it wasn't nearly as fun as our friends over at Illegal Pete's. Because when you're at Illegal Pete's, you're always going to have a great time because the food is bomb. The drinks are bomb. If you guys have not checked out Illegal Pete's, you definitely need to. We are so excited to be welcoming them to the PHNX family. You can check out their location off of Mill in Tempe. Plus, when you purchase $100 in gift cards, they'll throw you a $25 one on the house. And also be on the lookout for a few informal happy hours with our PHNX Sun Devils crew. So again, make sure you check them out in Tempe. It's Illegal Pete's, and the food and the drinks are amazing. Also, if you're looking to spruce up your house before the holidays, maybe you guys are planning on hosting Christmas this year, you can check out our friends over at More Furniture. They've got comfortable furniture. They have beautiful furniture. They have beautiful furniture that is also comfortable. All the things you could need for your home and your space. And right now, you can save up to 50% off with their holiday clearance event. So check them out. That's morfurniture.com. Okay, so we do have some super chats to get to.
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to do them
Let's do the
before or
super
after?
chats. Yeah, let's do the
It's up to
super
you.
chats. Let's do them.
Okay, so let's see what we got. Super chats. Can you scroll
To the top.
to the top?
There you go.
Oh no, we're missing some.
Are we?
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll start with these and then we'll go back. Okay. Yeah. So Nicholas, thank you for your super chat. Said Chris Paul is setting this franchise back 2 to 3 years, $30 million a year to be a below average player at this point. Imagine the depth that we could have.
I totally get that take, and I understand why it looks terrible now, but that is why they left themselves ways out of this contract on the last 2 years of his deal. And I'm sorry, but anyone arguing that they shouldn't have given him that contract is using hindsight 2020 to their advantage. Like, he brought them to the finals for just the third time in franchise history in his first year with the team. He has been responsible for one of the best seasons in franchise history. Like, I understand we're frustrated with where he's at now, but like, there's nothing that can be done about that.
Again, one of the things that I always like to challenge people that say those kind of things is, all right, put yourself in James Jones' shoes and tell me how you would have orchestrated a deal with Chris Paul, knowing that you just came off the finals. He basically won Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals by himself, and was phenomenal. Like, you're not going to pay this dude at all? And then he comes back and leads one of the best teams in the regular season in franchise history. Like, and he basically proved the worth of that contract, or at least the first year of that contract. But again, like Gerald said, they put some ways out of this contract, beginning with next year, and it being partially guaranteed instead of fully guaranteed, and then the year after it's a team option. So like, they'll be okay.
Right. It's only 15.8 million of the 30.8 million is guaranteed next year, and then the following year it's fully non-guaranteed. So they've left themselves ways out. I know that's very little comfort to anyone right now, but like, that was a necessary thing that you had to do when he was a free agent that season. It was a no-brainer.
And like, we wouldn't have had what we were able to have during those seasons without Chris Paul.
Right.
So
that's why you got to win a title when your window's open.
Yeah.
That's the bigger problem.
And we're upset right now about this 5-game losing streak because we feel like we're going backwards in time, where if we didn't have Chris Paul, we might have been in the same boat the whole entire time.
Right.
Never have gotten a taste of the other side. So anyway, all right. Psycho Blue. Couple from Psycho Blue here. Saul, do you want to read these ones?
Sure. By the way, Saul going to the gaming zone in Tempe. Tell them Psycho Blue sent you, and you'll either get a hero's welcome or gasp of horror sans thought. Okay. And then the other one says, the basketball gods heard Saul and Espo last spring ask, what else could they possibly do to us? Enter second round, choke, enter a second round choke, and a mid-season tank and a Nazi owner. Jesus. Okay. That's not okay.
So are you saying basketball god is mad at us for asking?
Yeah, mad at me and
if
Espo.
he couldn't, what else could they do to us?
Yeah.
That's tough.
I mean, honestly, I would take a 5-game losing streak right now than a 19-win season.
Yeah.
Does it suck? Yeah. Is it even worse because this team's better and they shouldn't be on a 5-game losing streak? Absolutely. Do you all remember how freaking miserable the 19-win season was?
We've been through the dog
Like,
days.
absolutely miserable.
Not even a little bit.
Let's just ease
I've
up.
completely forgotten it.
All right, a couple more. We got one from Code. Code, thank you for your super chat. Said, watching the Suns is like Derek and Step Brothers watching his wife sing Sweet Child of Mine, only there's no solo act who can save the Suns.
True. Trevor Begay, AZ Sports, not giving us much to cheer about right now. And then another one from Trevor. I know it's a long season, but it's hard not to worry. True.
Yeah.
We're all worried.
It's pretty much where we're at.
Exactly.
Like we can have the perspective and the context and say it's only December. They've got time to turn it around and get healthy, and they do. But like this is raising concerns about the rest of the roster that we knew we would have at some point, and it's not great that we're having them already.
No.
And then last one, Jeff Bernardo says SGA would be a phenomenal number 2 behind Book.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He would be. Are we sure he would be
him.
number 2? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't do that.
I'm not trying to get there.
Don't do it.
All right. All right. So I got a game.
Threw astray.
So I got a game. Chat, this is your chance to win.
Okay.
This is your chance to win. We are going to do chat versus the world, which is basically the world is
Lindsey
Girth.
Gerald.
Girth.
Okay.
And Lindsey is visiting Girth. So that's what
I'm
this is.
visiting Girth.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's chat versus the world. This is H-Town style, okay? The chat will get points for everything that they get right. You guys will get points for everything you get right.
Okay.
If the chat can't figure it out, you can steal.
Okay.
If you can't figure it out, they can steal.
All right.
See how this works?
Okay.
So I'm going to start with Lindsey and Gerald first. Their first question is, H-Town said somebody is rockin' knockin' what?
Rockin' knockin' boots?
Hey,
Okay.
there you go.
I was like, wait, is it that?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Straightforward?
What is
Okay.
it?
Somebody rockin' knockin' the boots.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on. All right. Yeah. So,
All right.
so
I was
this,
overthinking
Gerald.
it.
yeah, don't overthink it. Don't
Thank
overthink
God,
it.
Gerald's
These
on
are-
my team.
These are good. Okay, chat, this is your turn. Okay. This is an easy one. Come on. If you don't know this, you're not a Suns fan. Let's just say that. Travis Scott said he was wet like what?
Oh.
That one's easy. You should give that one to me.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Come on, chat. You gotta hurry. You gotta be quick. You gotta be quick.
I'm waiting. Oh, okay.
Okay, Giselle got it.
I think they're still behind.
Giselle got it. Book. Giselle in the chat said book.
Okay. Oh, you're on
Yeah.
YouTube. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. All
And
right.
Brittany,
Chat
too.
gets a point. All right. So we're tied at 1 apiece.
Okay.
All right. If you were the queen bee, you'd be married to who?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
There you go. All right.
Look at me go, you guys.
See? There you go.
That's my only contribution.
Okay,
Gerald, so.
this one might be a little tricky, but I have faith in you guys. All right. Slim Thug calls shots, cops drops, and reps the North like what? Like what?
Say that one more time.
I said Slim Thug calls shots, cops drops, and reps the North like what?
Oh, shot. I don't know. I don't even know what that one would be.
Ooh.
This is going to be a
Yeah, I
tough
don't
one.
know.
So far, I've
Okay.
not gotten anything in the chat.
Let me see the chat.
We're a little bit behind still.
Okay. All good. All good.
We got tough
plenty of
one,
stuff.
or was this one?
This is a little tough. I guess it's a little tough.
Okay.
Okay, so
All
there's
right.
a couple things.
Hey,
coming
there
in
we go.
now.
Jeff Bernardo, like a boss. There
There
you
we
go,
go.
son.
There
I
you
knew
go.
somebody would get it. All
All
right. 2-2.
Okay.
Here we go. If your hands were on your knees, shaking ass, you'd be on what? You'd be on what? It's a new song. It's a
Okay.
newer song.
Wait, what?
If your hands were on your knees and you were
Lindsay's
shaking your,
flabbergasted. She was like,
you'd be on what?
I have no idea.
Ooh, can the chat
Your
steal?
hands,
On their
knees.
You'd be on what? You'd be on.
Hands on your knees, shaking ass. That's all I can say.
Oh, it's
Oh.
Lindsay, you're on TikTok so much. You should know that.
Yeah, you should know this.
No.
Oh, see?
Is it something to do with like I don't know what the
I
lyric
know
is
the. I can know the beat.
I
of
know.
Let's
that.
go.
Is it?
Come on, chat, steal.
Hands
Oh,
on knees.
Dang.
It's like
What was
not,
the at?
it's like,
What was the
it's
question
not
again? Part of it? You'd
I
be on
don't know,
what?
It's something like
Yeah, you'd be on what?
Oh, I can't think
All
of the
right,
lyric.
nobody gets it. That's time.
What is it?
Some thought shit.
I literally almost was saying, I swear it has to do with thought, but I wasn't sure.
Some thought shit.
I
Hand someone
really-
the shake and
oh
ask
my
them thought shit.
God.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
that's right.
All right.
I heard the beat. I couldn't
Okay,
get the lyric.
it's your time to shine, chat. This man knew when to hold them and knew when to fold them. Who is it?
Oh, God, I would never know the name of this person off
pretty
the top
easy.
of my head. I'm terrible at this.
Yeah.
You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Yeah.
It's more country, isn't it?
Yeah,
No.
it's country.
Is it country?
Yeah, it's country.
Oh.
Let's see.
We just need one answer from the chat. This is your chance to take the lead.
I love the
Okay.
answers from them trying to steal from our last one.
This
was
one is going to drive me
hilarious.
crazy.
Somebody said The Gambler.
No. Oh yeah.
That's the song.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
it?
the
Yep,
song.
it is.
Song?
Yeah,
But
that's
what's
the song. Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
said
What's-
Kenny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Kenny
There we go.
Rogers.
3-2. Chat is in the lead. We have 2 questions each to go.
Oh, man.
Here we go. What number do you need to call Mike Jones on?
Oh, wait, is this chat or us?
You.
It's us.
Oh.
Go for it.
Hold on. Let me make sure. Hold on. 281-330-8004.
Hey!
I had to make sure because last time we talked about this, I put a number backwards. So I just
There
needed
you
to make
go.
sure that I wasn't fucking it up.
Good
Okay,
shit,
this one's a
Vince.
tough one, Chad, but I believe in you. All right, what 2 bills did Destiny's Child want you to pay?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
What 2 bills did Destiny Child?
They said bills 3 times in a row, but the last 2 times they want you to pay a specific bill.
Oh,
Bills,
I don't know.
You can
this
pay
one.
Bills. You can pay my bills.
Emma knows.
Emma
it.
knows
Can I
it.
participate? I haven't been able to participate this
Come
whole
on,
time.
Emma. You can be on
Tell
the
me.
chat's team. Help him out.
Is it credit card?
No.
Oh, dude.
Wait, did I drop an F-bomb?
Did you?
Did you?
Did it just slip out?
I didn't hear. Anybody else? Anybody else? Not medical bills, Jose. Not medical bills.
That would've been-
Telephone.
Telephone,
Telephone and automobile code.
There
Got
you
it. There you go.
go.
Code.
There you
That's
go.
my guy. All right.
Well done, Chad.
All right.
How
Okay.
many more do we have?
You need this to stay in the game
Okay.
We
because the
do?
chat is
Yeah.
4. They've gotten all 4 right.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
many- Wait,
You
I thought
guys,
they
you
got
guys, you guys missed
wrong.
one. You guys missed the thought shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. You're
Okay.
right. Okay.
Much like The Rock, this artist is a self-proclaimed people's champ.
Oh, hell.
Oh,
Come on, Gerald.
Oh yeah, you know it.
I
You
know
it's right
it.
there. It's right
the
there.
wrestlers are.
No, The Rock is the wrestler.
The Rock is the wrestler.
No. Wait. So what's the question?
It said, much like The Rock,
Right.
the wrestler, this artist is a self-proclaimed people's champ.
Right. He comes out to that one song.
All right, you can.
I think you're
I'm
off,
not-
Gerald.
you can
He's
get-
not the wrestler.
Not a wrestler.
He's an artist.
He's an artist.
The
the one
Rock-
who
The
sings
Rock
that
is
song.
the
Oh,
wrestler.
okay.
The chat got it.
What
Paul
is
Wall,
it?
baby. Paul Wall. He's like, I'm the people's
Dang.
champ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
the
would not
last
have
question,
gotten that one at all.
the last
No.
question I had for the chat, since they've already won, congratulations, chat. You guys, unlike the Suns, were winners today.
Heyo.
What were they trying to catch Chamillionaire doing?
Oh, come on.
Do you know it?
Yeah.
Riding dirty?
Yeah, riding dirty. There you go. That's H-Town trivia for you.
Very nice.
That was fun.
I enjoyed that.
I
Very
enjoyed
nice.
that a lot.
Even though
I
our
feel like
losing
we should
streak
do that one
continues.
Yeah. We still lose.
We
you
still
guys
lost.
win. There you go.
But that was fun.
Yes.
I
At least it
enjoyed
was a
that one.
fun loss.
Yeah, that was right.
More than
At
the
least
Suns
we showed
can say.
effort.
Yeah.
We tried, Gerald.
We're the Josh Okogies out here.
We tried, Gerald.
The chat is now 1-0. We will keep that for the record.
Very nice.
All right. Another real quick couple things. Underdog Fantasy, we've talked about it a ton here at PHNX. We even have a show dedicated to it here at PHNX because it is that great. It is so much fun. It is the best way to combine fantasy sports and winning cold hard cash. And right now on the Underdog Fantasy app, if you sign up using the promo code PHNX, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. It is so much fun because you can play by yourself, you can play with friends, you can play for one single game, you can play all season long. They do daily fantasy sports just completely differently. You can draft your team against 5 of your friends, and the highest scoring squads for that night could win cold hard cash. There's a bunch of great ways that you can play fantasy sports on Underdog Fantasy, so check them out at underdogfantasy.com or download their app to get started. Also, Game Time. Game Time is a great place to buy tickets to upcoming sporting events or concerts. When I looked, when was it, on Friday? Was our last game on Friday or was it on Sunday?
Sunday.
I think I looked on Sunday, and tickets to the Pelicans game on Saturday were $50 when I looked. And they might be even a little bit cheaper now, to be honest with you. And that was all taxes and fees included. Game Time is the best place to get your tickets to concert and sporting events because you can save up to 60% on those tickets when you buy them last minute. And the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. So make sure you do that if you would like to go to a concert or a game in the near future. All right. Anything else from tonight's game? There was one comment I did want to bring up from the chat.
Go ahead.
So AJ said, I think you guys are taking this a little bit too hard. Everyone in the West outside of the Pels feels like you guys. And I think that it maybe could give us a little bit of perspective, right? Like everyone's having struggles this year. It's not like there's just a top and a bottom. There's a lot of gray area.
I feel that to a certain extent, and I don't think anybody should be panicking. Like if you look at the standings, they're still 4th in the West. And I think coming into the season, a lot of people thought they would be in that 3 to 5 range. But they also had a lot of continuity on their side. And with the way that they started the season, looking like contenders, this feels underwhelming. Like they lost 18 games all of last season. They're already at 12, and we're only 28 games into the campaign. And a lot of these losses are just confirming our worst fears about the team's depth, about who other than Devin Booker can step up, about Chris Paul at this stage. So on the one hand, I get it. They're going to be fine in terms of making the playoffs and being a competitive team. But the goal with this group is to win a title. And it should be for every year until Devin Booker's prime is over. So are they going to do enough with it? Are they going to fix the roster? Are they going to make trades that they need to make? That's where my concern lies right now.
Agreed.
I think that's fair. But I also think that it's fair, but I also think a little bit of us are a little overblowing.
Oh, yeah.
How terrible it is.
Right.
Like there is a certain section of the fan base, and I have been in this part a couple times over the last week, who is making this much larger than what it probably should be for this specific time in the season.
Right.
So I just think it was a little bit of perspective as far as like, yes, there are things that need to be fixed and things that need to be dealt with. But it's not a nail in the coffin. We're 100% out of the race.
No.
That's all. Anything else from you guys?
Nope. Gotta make a move.
That's it.
Gotta make a move.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you all. Thank you for playing that game with us. We had a lot of fun doing that. So we're going to have to do more of that here in the near future because that one was a blast. Don't forget, of course, we told you guys in the pregame show, our tea party. It's going to be a lot of fun. For all the information to come out to our next watch party and event, make sure you check out gophnx.com or social media or the links in the descriptions. All the information is there, but we want to see you guys out there, and our diehards, you guys also get a discount to that event as well. So check it out. I'm Lindsey Smith, and you can follow me on Twitter at LindseySmithAZ. That's Saul Bookman, and you can follow him at Saul_Bookman. That's Gerald Bourget, and you can follow him at Gerald Bourget. Gerald, you get to take us home because you have something special for us.
Yes, you guys. I just wanted to show you this because we know that being an Arizona sports fan is tough. Stop giving me your toughest battles, we say as Arizona sports fans, and Jesus says to us, how are you still alive? So remember, if you're an Arizona sports fan, just keep breathing. It'll be okay. Saul passed the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B.